Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from. We have Ulysse here from APWine doing a workshop on your first future yield strategy. If you have any questions, they can go into the Zoom chat and Ulysse will be more than happy to answer them. And with that being said, I will pass the mic off to our speaker.
All right, thank you very much, Anna. Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many people here. My name is Ulysse. I'm one of the founders of APWine Finance. We're, to get the gist of it, we're a platform, a DeFi platform for tokenizing future yield and getting your interest in DeFi in advance. So let's see, together how this works. We're going to be introducing APWine first, and then we're going to be building, a strategy together about how to get your interest in advance over an entire 3-month, 6-month, 1 year. All right, so APWine is building derivatives on yield. This is how we introduce ourselves. The reason, this is a quick introduction about the protocol itself. The reason we did this in the first place was because in the DeFi summer of 2020, if some of you have witnessed it, there was extremely volatile yield, with a lot of risk, and so a big exposure to volatility on this on all these APYs, annual percentage yield. So we just came up with the idea: what if it was possible to get your interest ahead of time and at a fixed rate? And this is how we came up with the idea. The idea of yield tokenization is a primitive that we've introduced in DeFi that allows you to buy, sell, and hedge your future yield. Now, how does it work? Very simply, you get your interest-bearing assets or whatever. If you're using Yearn, you can use, Wi-Fi, stake Wi-Fi, interest-bearing assets such as ADAI on Aave, AUSDC, and so on. So this is a token that generates yield over time. You deposit that on APWine, and you get 2 different tokens, and this is the yield tokenization. You get one principal token, which is the initial value of your deposit, and then your future yield token, which is worth 0 at the beginning, but is going to contain all the yield generated by your deposit. So at the beginning of the period, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, it's worth $0. And at the end of the period, it's worth exactly whatever was generated. So once you get these 2 tokens, you can already imagine how to build strategies on top of that. And to get your salary in advance, your yield in advance, you effectively need to sell your future yield token on our exchange. So mint PT and FYT with IBT, and then burn. You can withdraw at any time. You're never really locked on APWine. Now, I'm not going to go through the APWine AMM too much in detail, but it's basically, we've built this in-house, kind of like Uniswap balancer and so on. It allows you to trade your PT, IBT, and FYT together. So you can either buy PT at a discount, for example. This is basically a fixed rate, but not advanced rate. And if you buy FYT, you get more exposed to the volatility. If you sell FYT, you get less exposure. So you get your yield in advance and at a fixed rate. So there's a lot of some of them I've already mentioned, but the PT trading, buy PT at a discount, wait till the expiry of the period, and get your yield at a fixed rate. Another one, another fun one is the yieldception. So basically sell your yield in advance and then reinvest it to sell it, as long as it's profitable. You can do this kind of loop. There are other strategies that I'm not going to go through today, but we're going to be building our own little strategy, fixed rate, selling future yield. So leverage the yield tokenization of APWine, the APWine AMM, to secure a fixed rate on your yield. Now, in order to kind of follow along, you're going to need Node.js and Yarn. So there's probably, we can share the slides on the Discord after that, so you can kind of follow along if you want to after that. But you're going to need the repository that I'm going to github.com/yulidev APWine-workshop. So let's do this first step now. I'm going to clone this and we're going to be navigating through it, opening it in Visual Studio. All right. And I hope this is visible enough, the size and everything. So let's go to, oops, sorry. This is not the right folder. APWine workshop, and then code. Right. So here we are. First thing you want to do is install the dependencies of the node modules. So just Yarn, very simple. You just install everything. This is the setup of the repository. And then you're going to want to go to the README to kind of get an overview of what this is. And you're going to want to copy this environment file to a local .env file. The private key that I've shown here is just an example private key. So, it's linked to a random account to test out. And the Alchemy API key is, I think it was abused before because it's a public repository. So I think it's disabled now, but we're going to go, I'm just going to, for the sake of this workshop, go through another key. Okay, now that everything is set up, you can just start your node. So we're going to be running a local Ethereum node. So this is very simple, just yarn start node. And there you have it. And next, you want to open another terminal and just go, yarn step 1, yarn step 2 to follow along this workshop. Just like that. So yarn step 1, and boom, you get the first step, which are all going to be in the scripts, and then step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. Okay, let me see. Yeah, app is inactive. So let me just quickly, sorry about that. Let me just quickly go through Alchemy and get the new API key. All right. We're going to be, sorry, 1 second. We're going to be getting another API key because this one is not working. All right. All right. Thank you for waiting. Here we are. Just copy paste this. And then we're good to go. We can just go through the step 1 again. All right. Just give me a minute to fix this. Not sure what's going on. Okay, yarn step 1. Let's go. Okay, we're good to go. Thanks. Now, as I've said before, the first step that we're going to be going through, and let me just put back the diaporama here. The first step is going to be the SDK creation. So for this, you're going to want to import the APWine SDK, and it's going to be just a very simple SDK is equal to new APWine SDK. And here you want to pass your provider, your signer, and your network. By the way, we're going to be, using TypeScript for this workshop. It's pretty simple to use, so you can just follow along here. And you can see here that we're initializing the SDK with our provider, signer, and network on mainnet. And if you run the command, like I've just did, you can see that it shows, okay, we've initialized the SDK. Now, the second step is, the world is now open to you, the world of APWine. And so you can just start getting all the information about the products that we have, about the futures, and so the assets that are available on the platform. So if you want to get a list of all the assets on APWine, you can just go through future vaults is equal to sdk.fetch all future vaults. And this is what we'll be doing here. So step 2, now we go to the other file, and then we just do futures is equal to fetch future aggregate from address. This fetch a little bit more detail, so like a little bit more complete. And I just want to take this opportunity to point out that we are using an old block number for this workshop, so that it's kind of reliable every time I do it. So you can find here that, so which block is it? Reset fork. So this is the block number that we will be using. So this is a little bit in the past. All right, so now let's run the step 2, and we're going to see what assets are available on the platform and how we can use it. So it's fetching all the 10 future votes that were available at the time. Now we have almost 30 future votes on both Polygon, mainnet, and coming to Arbitrum very soon. Right, so it's fetching, takes a little bit of time to fetch everything. By the way, we're running a fork here. So this is our local node that we've kind of pinpointed to a specific block number, and this allows us to do a local fork of mainnet. So now this is done. We can see that we have XSDT from StakeDAO, we have staked ETH from Lido, and so on. So this is all, again, in the past, which is why you see past dates. But these expire, in 3 months and so on. So now for the step 3, now that we have all the assets and all the addresses of the futures, what we want to do is get the basic APR for a specific asset. And for this workshop, we will be using the staked ETH strategy. So let's do this. We are going to get the spot price on the AMM. To do this, you just need to run sdk.fetch spot price, and then you specify the vault that you've just fetched, and then the from address and the to address. The from and the to are actually 2 tokens that you want to swap between on our AMM. So here, what we want to do is, for example, from underlying, which is going to be ETH, to PT, which is going to be locked ETH for the entire period. And this is how you can get a fixed rate on APWine. So let's do yarn step 3. All right, now it's computing the APR. And by the way, all the data that we fetched before is cached. So it allows you to be a little bit faster in the future runs. And so now we compute the PT APR. The PT APR for staked ETH, so for ETH, basically, is 35% at the time, where I created the workshop. So it's really nice. And there was a lot of opportunities at the time, and there still are on the platform. I encourage you to go check it out for yourself. So 35% is very good. Again, this is a fixed rate. So now, is this efficient? Can we be more efficient with this? So lower our liquidity needed to get a better or same result? And in fact, yes. And we're going to go through how to do this in today's strategy. So today's strategy is not just buying PT with underlying, but really going through the FYT route. So tokenizing our STETH into PT and FYT, and then selling the FYT for PT to maximize our fixed rate. And to do this, we just want to go through a few steps. So imagine you have your ETH as a beginning, as an underlying asset. You want to first deposit on Lido Finance, so get your staked ETH, and then deposit on APWine to get the PT plus FYT. So this is what we will be doing. We're going to be tokenizing in this step. And to do this, we're going to check how we do it. So first step is going to be depositing onto Lido Finance. So we start with some wrap ETH, and we just deposit our amount to tokenize, which is 10 ETH, onto Lido. And to do this, I've just set up a very simple utility method. If you check it, it just sends ETH to the STETH address. This is how you deposit on Lido. Once we have our staked ETH, so at this stage, we can then tokenize our STETH by depositing it on APWine. And to do this, you just want to sdk.futurevolt, and you just call the deposit method on the SDK. So here we are. You can also select to automatically approve, automatically run an approval transaction. So this just prevents you from writing 2 lines instead of once. It's kind of a utility method that we've put in the SDK. So let's run this and see how it goes. So again, two very simple steps: deposit on Lido and deposit on APWine. And if we do this, we deposit 10 ETH on Lido, and then we deposit everything that we have on APWine again. And we get 9.93 PT and 9.93 FYT. And before you call me a scammer and why did you get less PT and FYT than you've put ETH, this is just a regular function of the protocol. Basically, since the period has already started, you're getting an FYT that already has some value. So if you withdraw your 9.93 PT and 9.93 FYT, you're going to get your 10 staked ETH back. Exactly. But since the FYT has some value, of course, it needs to be accounted for. Nice. So now what we want to do as the last step is swap all of our FYT, so the 9.93, to our PT. And again, when you buy PT with anything, even underlying or FYT or whatever, you basically get a fixed rate. So here we're going to be maximizing our fixed rate. This is the fifth step. So to swap on the SDK, it's very simple. SDK.swapIn. You pass the AMM object, so which is going to be the address of the AMM, and then you pass very simple strings from FYT to PT and the amount. And what this is going to do is automatically route through the PT, so the FYT swap to PT, and then PT to ETH. Of course, if you want to swap from FYT to ETH. This routing is kind of similar to what you have on ParaSwap or 1inch or any kind of DEX aggregator where you can do the automatic writing, but we have this on APWine. So now let's see what is the result and how we can analyze it, see what's the purpose of doing all this. If you go to this fifth step, you can see here that we're just getting the AMM address of our staked ETH future. So the future that we used before to tokenize, we're now getting the associated AMM address. And then we just swap in FYT to PT. And the result that we get is 10.36 PT, which in a sense is a 36% rate. Sorry, a 3.6% rate. This is because you just did a profit over your 10 initial ETH. So you're getting 0.36 profit. This is a fixed rate again. And if you look at the annualized, APR, you're getting 34.38%, which is very close to what we had in the previous step. Now, what is the purpose of doing all this? This is all to say that APWine is very efficient, but this specific strategy is even more efficient in the way that it supports much better capital efficiency. So you can have trades that are up to 10 times as big as the previous step that we did before. So, something like 100K will very likely go through on APWine. You can try as much as $1 million, going through this strategy to get a fixed rate on a bigger capital. Right, and this is basically how you get a fixed rate in the most efficient way on APWine. Now it is your turn, of course, hackers to kind of hack around the protocol, see how it can be integrated with other platforms as well, or just other fixed rate protocols. You never know. So yeah, it's your turn. Creative strategies get rewarded. We have a few prizes up for grabs. Whether it be arbitrage, leveraged yield, or trading bots, we're very happy to see what you come up with. And as a last, thank you for listening to this workshop. I just want to mention also that we are hiring. So if after the workshop and the hackathon, you've enjoyed working with APWine, working with our team, asking questions, if you're interested in joining the future of fixed rates and yield, we are hiring. So please reach out if you have any questions or if you want to get in touch. The email is here, contact@apwine.fi. The Telegram is @APWineFinance. Please, again, reach out, join the group, and we can chat together. Thank you very much for listening to this workshop. I'll pass it back to Anna, and thank you again for listening. Happy hacking.
Awesome. I think you actually have a question in the Zoom chat.
Yes, please do. Please do.
So what
Yeah.
is the correlation between the APY of PT to ETH?
Oh, sorry, what's that?
What is the correlation between the APY of PT to ETH?
What is the correlation between the APY of PT to ETH? So I'm not sure I understand fully the question, but okay. You have an APY on ETH on Lido Finance. So, right now it's shown, for example, around 5% last I checked. So this 5% is what you're getting on a variable rate, right? On APWine, of course, this is the beginning of the platform, and this is why there are many opportunities. But in the long term, the APY on APWine is going to very closely match that of Lido Finance. It's just logical. Now, the relationship to this APY shown on Lido Finance and the APY shown on APWine as the PT fixed rate is that you're getting this one not as a variable rate, but as a fixed rate. You're simply buying PT with your ETH in order to fix your rate. This is basically how it works. And logically, you're going to have a discount. So if you're getting 5% on Lido Finance, you're going to get something like 4.5% on APWine as a fixed rate. So there's always going to be some kind of discount. I hope this made things a little bit clearer, but please ask away if there's any other point to clear up. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like cleared up. Thanks for the answer. And then Yusuke asks, what are the competitive advantages of APWine over Sense Finance?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I'm doing this question over and over every time I speak, but I think it would be nice for you to join the group, kind of learn more about APWine. We have a docs at docs.apwine.fi. Basically, we made our own AMM in-house. We launched the V1 1 year ago. And yeah, I feel like there's an entire, competitive space in the fixed rate and advanced yield platforms. So there will be a lot to discuss on these aspects, but please reach out, to kind of get your own opinion on how APWine is different, from Element, Sense, Pendle. There are so many to talk about, but it's very good. Thanks for the question. Can you customize strategies and interact with rotor or wrapper contracts? Yes, of course, you can do whatever you like. You can even go through the contracts yourself. The SDK is basically a wrapper for the contracts, but if you feel like techie enough for this hackathon, you can just dive into the Solidity and build your own very, very custom strategies. This is the SDK is more made for off-chain computation, but if you want to make an on-chain strategy, you better go with Solidity directly. And you can also do new integrations with other protocols in that way. Again, every time, I kind of reply, please, if there's anything unclear, please let me know. I'm just going to go through the next question. So Danny is asking if 1 PT is equal to 1 ETH. And Danny, I think you got it right. You understood the protocol very well. So at the beginning of the period, 1 ETH is not going to be equal to 1 PT. This is because there's going to be a time discount. So let's say if you have $1 right now and $1 in 1 year, of course, it's not worth the same amount in terms of value because you have more potential investing that $1 right now into something else. Now, at the end of the period, 1 PT is always equal to 1 ETH. And this is how the protocol works. So if you just take this very simple fact, you can buy PT at a discount at the beginning of the period because it's cheaper, and then wait till the end of the period till 1 PT is equal to exactly 1 ETH. And this is how you can secure the fixed rate. This is the entire idea behind it. Thanks for the question.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions we have now. If anyone has any more questions, you have a couple seconds to send in the Zoom chat, or you can even come off live ask your questions live. But otherwise, I guess that's everything. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Ulysse, for taking the time to do this workshop for the ETHOnline hackathon and to the hackers. As Ulysse said, if you have any questions, it can be reached out over email, their Telegram, or even in the ETHOnline event Discord in the sponsor APWine Discord channel. They are going to be available all month. So super excited to see what everyone's going to be building. And once again, thank you for everyone for joining. And that being said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, Anna, for inviting me. And please, reach out for any ideas, help on anything. We're here, we're here for you. Thank you so much. Happy hacking.
Bye, everyone.